In front of a sold-out crowd with Fiesta-themed t-shirts seated in every seat in the building, the New York Knicks. Yes, those New York Knicks, the team that has been a joke for the better part of 3 decades, entered the Forest Bank Center, Wembanyama's home, on the biggest stage in professional basketball, and won Game 1 of the NBA Finals, 105-95, on the road. They left with a double after entering enemy territory. This is what makes this narrative so unborn, though. Incredibly excellent. It wasn't tidy. It wasn't attractive. The Spurs had a 14-point lead at one point in the third quarter. Following an injury scare, Jalen Brunson limped to the locker room. The audience was having a good time. There was no more momentum. The Knicks appeared to be a squad that had run out of steam. Additionally, 22-year-old alien Victor Wembanyama, who plays basketball as if he were created in a lab, was beginning to impose his will. In that position, most teams fold. When faced with a 14-point deficit on the road in the NBA Finals, most teams begin to consider Game 2. But not this team, not these Knicks. Because what transpired during the next 24 minutes of basketball was among the most amazing scenes we have witnessed in this postseason. The vice was tightened defensively by New York. They discovered a blueprint, which I will describe in detail in a moment. Because it is very brilliant. And they went on to close off Game 1 with a 1-1-0 run. 12 consecutive postseason victories. Consider that figure. 12. Since April 23, they have not suffered a defeat. The 76ers were overrun by them. The Cavaliers were swept. They have just accomplished something that no team has ever done. In the first NBA Finals game, they defeated San Antonio. Prior to last night, the Spurs had a 6-0 record in those circumstances. History, 6-0. Absent. The entire basketball community is conversing. Legends are speaking. The players are currently conversing. Let's face it, Draymond Green has been telling everyone who would listen that the Knicks couldn't win for the past week. And I have everything you need right here. However, I must first explain exactly what transpired in that game before we move on to the reactions. Because it's important to examine how the Knicks dealt with Wembanyama. You will want to see this through to the end, so stay focused. I'll set the scenario for you. The first game of the NBA Finals takes place on June 3, 2026. The underdogs are the Knicks. They received 4.5 points from Vegas. In the playoffs, San Antonio had not dropped a game at the Frostbank Center. This season, they had a 32-8 record at home. Playing in his first-ever Finals game is Victor Wembanyama, the most distinctive player the NBA has seen since perhaps Shaquille O'Neal. There was an electricity in that building. As the Knicks made a quick comeback, they played with assurance. Finding his spots, analyzing the defense, and improving everyone around him were all things Jalen Brunson was doing. Early on, New York was clicking. Brunson then to the locker room late in the first quarter due to an injury scare. The Knicks' tires suddenly lost their air. The Spurs sensed it right away. San Antonio began to receive stops. Stephon Castle found his rhythm when Wembanyama began to operate. The Spurs started to take on their current appearance. A 62-win squad that recently defeated the Oklahoma City Thunder, the defending champions, in 7 games. San Antonio had a 14-14 lead by the middle of the third quarter. The audience was going nuts. The Spurs appeared to be ready to prove to everyone why they were the favorites. Then something changed. The tightening of New York's defense was nearly tactical. Coach Mike Brown seemed to have been waiting for that precise moment to make a change. Wembanyama was being bodied on the block by the Knicks. Every time he touched the paint, they brought several bodies. OG Anunoby began locking in on a whole new level. Since Wemby joined the NBA, he has, incidentally, kept Wemby to the fewest possessions of any defense in the league. Wembanyama was unable to operate in his preferred locations because Karl Anthony Towers was vying for a position. The Knicks discovered a cheat code, which is the loophole. Everyone is aware that once Wembanyama finds his rhythm, he is practically unstoppable. He can do things that a 7'3" person shouldn't be able to accomplish if he catches the ball in space. What then did New York do? They forced them to shoot early in the shot clock, crowded the area, removed the paint, and made the other Spurs defeat them. That tactic was utterly disastrous on a night when San Antonio shot 11 for 43 from three-point range. The man who was thought to be basketball's future was standing at half court, hands on his knees, looking for energy by the fourth quarter. He was mentally and physically exhausted by the Knicks, and when Brunson returned, he scored 13 of his 30 points in just the fourth quarter. With 2 minutes remaining, he hit a corner three after falling behind by 1. The Knicks then went on a 1-1-0 run to finish the game. In the NBA Finals, New York made just one mistake after halftime. That is a completely dominant discipline on the road. Basketball. New York's ultimate score was 105-95. The basketball world went completely crazy when the Knicks took a 1-0 series lead. I had to start with Draymond Green since he is undoubtedly the most interesting character in basketball media at the moment when it comes to player reactions. His relationship with the Knicks this playoffs has been a roller coaster that merits its own Netflix documentary, and he is a one-man content machine. Let's go back to a few days ago. Draymond reiterated his view that the Knicks couldn't win a title on his podcast, The Draymond Green Show, only days before the finals even began. He relied on Becky Hammon's previous assessment that Jalen Brunson isn't a Tier 1 superstar. "You get out of the East because you're supposed to get out of the East," he remarked, and I'll quote him here. "The East is where it is." He praised Mike Brown, the new head coach. But not for the club as a whole, but for the Knicks' run. In essence, he claimed that the Knicks profited from a weak conference and that the East is simple. Which, well, there's a basketball dispute hidden there. Here's the problem, though. Both the Cavaliers and the 76ers were swept by the Knicks. Prior to the finals, they were 11-0. Regardless of how you feel about the Eastern Conference, you don't do that by accident. This is when things start to become really fantastic, though. Only a few hours prior to the start of the first game, the one in which Draymond lost the entire week, he completely changed the course of events. He returned to his show and stated that he believes the Knicks will win the series. Again, I'm quoting him exactly when he said, "I believe the New York Knicks are more primed and ready right now than the Spurs. Spurs are still going through a lot." Draymond isn't stupid, so let's accept the basketball point he was making. The man holds 4 rings and has a deeper understanding of the game than most others. New York arrived and relaxed, he claimed. Cleveland was swept by the Knicks in 4 games. The Spurs just played Oklahoma City for 7 grueling games. The disparity in experience is important. The benefit of rest is important. The team's ability to persevere in the face of hardship is crucial. Additionally, Draymond's pre-game statements were confirmed after the first game. When Banyama, a 22-year-old participating in his first NBA Finals away from home during one of the most important times of his career, was physically and psychologically exhausted in the last moments of the fourth quarter, the Spurs appeared exhausted. The Knicks, who have been in control for weeks, appear to be full of enthusiasm. In just 48 hours, Draymond Green went from completely making fun of the Knicks selection to winning the championship. It's not a flip-flop. That's a man who genuinely watches the game and follows the evidence. And New York is directly targeted by the evidence following the first game. There were other people speaking besides Draymond. The NBA community erupted after that performance in Game 1. Allow me to take you through some of the most important voices in the basketball industry and their current positions. Let's begin with Patrick Ewing, the emotional center, who embodies the historical significance of this moment. At the San Antonio Frost Bank Center, Patrick Ewing was at courtside. Patrick Ewing, who played in the 1999 NBA Finals against these same Spurs and was the face of the Knicks during their last great run, was present to witness his team begin their redemption narrative. Before the game, he was captured on tape conversing with Gary Payton, 2 Hall of Famers, and 2 legends. You could see the significance of this event on Ewing's face. Prior to the game, he spoke in interviews about the unique qualities of the Knicks. He expressed his unwavering belief that the franchise would return to the stage. Additionally, the cameras captured Ewing going completely berserk after Brunson drained that corner 3 in the fourth quarter to spark the Knicks' 1-1-0 run. The man got to his feet and rejoiced as if it were 1994 again. For Patrick Ewing, this is more than just basketball. This is private. This is a legacy. His career was characterized by this city, where he finally had the opportunity to win the one thing that had eluded him throughout his playing career. Michael Jordan consistently got in the way of Ewing's Knicks' success in the 1990s. In 1999, Tim Duncan and David Robinson were obstacles. Ewing is present to see the title, which New York has been waiting for 53 years. I'm not sure what will move you if that doesn't. The vitality of Larry Johnson. A number of Knicks icons have been attending playoff games throughout the season, including Larry Johnson, LJ's original grandmother, who was also making the rounds before to Game 1. During the interview, he mentioned something that really resonated with me. He discussed how difficult it is to win a championship, how Jordan stopped the Knicks from making it to the finals twice in the 1990s, and how, whether they realize it or not, this current squad bears the weight of their entire history. He also brought up an intriguing point. The last two times the Knicks were close, they defeated everyone but the world's greatest player, Olajuwon in 1999 and Jordan in the 1990s, and now they're facing Wembanyama is regarded by many as his generation's next great player. The similarities were almost unsettling, but this time the Knicks defeated Wemby in the opening game. LJ has faith in this group. He described them as the most comprehensive Knicks team since those clubs from the 1990s. From a man who played with Ewing, Starks, Sproul, and Mason, that is a significant statement. The respect factor for the entire league. This is what makes this Knicks run so intriguing. Many observers viewed New York as a pretender at the beginning of the playoffs, a good but mediocre squad. One star, without a real number. The league as a whole is now paying attention in a different way. Consider the true nature of this roster. Jalen Brunson recently overcame an injury scare to score 30 points in an NBA Finals game, including 13 in the fourth quarter. Karl Anthony is with you.